BESCO's mission is to transform Bulgaria's economic model towards high value-added businesses. And you have devoted the last years on trying to promote this vision. Where do you think you are now on this journey?
It's funny, we had this conversation internally, and we just, we just became a factor, like really only yesterday, figuratively speaking. But up to this point, this was the moment, where you were pushing the ball uphill. And now we're on the point where the ball is right on the peak. And I can sense that, the tipping point is here, and now it's going to be a snowball effect down the hill. So I believe that the best is yet to come. We really needed time to validate first our purpose of existence, then our methodology, because we developed our own internal methodology called the REDBA, which is Research, Evaluate, Discuss, Build, Create, and Advocate. It's a 5-step process that we work for every legislation that we do. So we validated that we have a system, we have backers, we have purpose, we have critical momentum with the politicians. So really, it's a perfect storm now. So from this point onwards, in the next couple of years, I think it's where we'll see the snowball effect, and legislation happening much more quickly, much more thoroughly, much better as well. Because one of the problems in Bulgaria is that legislation is carried out in an absurd way. Like the level of policy creation is, it's bad. And BESCO is raising the level for the politicians themselves, because, we carry out reports of a few hundred pages before we make an assumption on what to change. So everything that we do is based on data and facts, not about our opinions. So we're raising the level in that aspect as well. And when you put all those factors, and now it's, momentum and speed. That's the point now.
Do you have any takeaways that you would like to share on this policy-making experience?
It's a very slow process. It's
patience is a very
absolutely. I got to trick myself that it's, I call it a slow sales process. I put the word sales inside, so it sounds like a business cycle, and it is actually a business cycle. But you have to understand that, politics is it's very human-driven. It's very subjective. It is absolutely. Most of the times, it's not a pragmatic, objective, clear, black and white aspect of the coin. The coin could be this way, or it could be the other way, or it could be just standing like this. And flexibility is another thing that you need to have, like personal flexibility, and being able to understand emotional intelligence and reading situation and reading between the lines. And lastly, it's like multiple stakeholder management. Everything that you talk to one guy cannot be the same with talking to the other guy, and we're usually talking to tens, if not hundreds of people. So multiple stakeholder management is a process. It should be taken as a process, not as it's not a gut feeling, it's not intuition, it's a systematic approach towards multiple stakeholder management. And these are the essential about the advocacy process, and I think they're very relevant to business as well.
One of the things that I see going to politics and policies just watching it from the sidelines is that not a lot of people are entrepreneurs that are trying to change the legislation. You guys are. So how did this entrepreneurial thinking and experience help you move the needle in such a conservative and slow-moving process that you already described? That's regulation and lawmaking and legislation in general.
Yeah, again, no one was willing to do it. And in our vision, we understood that this is the absolute must for the ecosystem to move upwards. There is no real, there could be no real change in any ecosystem unless it's aligned with a strategic vision of those in power. We think that, the birth of BESCO and the success of BESCO are actually the end of the transition period that we claim to have the post-communist transition period. We think that because there was this environment for BESCO to appear and to evolve, if you like a more Darwinian approach, is the going down of a post-communist transition period. And I think we're at the very, very end of the transition period. And now, for the first time, I think we are facing true liberal market and through democracy, with all the drawbacks that we live in, the reality that we have. But I think that this is a very clear statement of the phase that Bulgaria is actually going to.